thank you for tackling so forcefully a decidedly fragile issue or subject with us. And you know what? You're not alone. Our most earnest supplications have been answered because we wanted to get more than one like Jerome and we couldn't. So we decided to go for Ronald, anonymous Ronald on tape. But here's what. Somebody has answered the call. He's with us today and he suffered as excruciatingly or even more so than Jerome. He is now a graduate in engineering from the University of the West Indies and is extremely aware of his journey and has agreed just moments ago to share it with us. I want you to welcome Jonas Sanchez.
To everyone. So here I am. I'm answering Jerome's challenge that I have had problems with pornography. So just to give a background to myself, like I was introduced, my name is Jonas Sanchez. I'm from Belize, Central American country. I recently graduated from the University of the West Indies. I'll be graduating next week, Thursday. So next week Thursday is the ceremony. And I came here, for the week and but the talks about pornography and something I've been dealing with something I've been dealing with for 15 years now. I'm 22. So my first exposure to it was when I was 7 or 8 years old. That was in the early 2000s. So one day, what happened? And you're a child, you're 7, so I was very much into comic books at the time. So I came across a graphic novel. This is an emphasis on graphic. So the graphic novel was about a small book, 6 by 9 inches, so it's colorful. So I said, what is it? So I flicking through it. I said, what's wrong with this woman? She don't have no clothes or anything. What's she doing in this room with this man and thing? All kind of positions and things. So you're naive, and then thinking, what is this? And now at the time, I didn't tell my parents anything. I was too scared. I was in primary school at the time. I'm not going to tell your parents you saw this, and you feel you're going to be in trouble. So I left that as it is. That was when I was 7. Now my father is a contractor in Belize. He's a contractor. So I have been involved in engineering from a very early age. When I was 5, I was reading blueprints before I was reading books. My father, he used to bring the plans, and he would give me the plans, and I would read them. And I would trace over and technical drawings. So I used to accompany him on the site, so when I was 8, I started accompanying my father on construction sites. Now, I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with, but construction, is very time intensive. You work Monday to Saturday, 6 to 6. How should I put it? A lot of workmen, a lot of slang in terms of sexual slang. A nice woman passing the street, you give her a chat up, all kind of thing. So I was exposed to that from a very young age, and to me, that was normal. That's how you behave. It doesn't help that I'm Spanish too, because Spanish people are very hot-blooded, so that just compounds the problem. So that's the norm. In Central America, Belize is in Central America, so we have the Central American republics, you have Guatemala and Mexico, so a lot of the workmen who were immigrants, they came and they work on, so I learning from a very young age all kind of sexual innuendo, both in Spanish and in English. So, okay, this is normal. Oh, man have 2 women and thing, that's okay, nothing wrong with that. So every day, every Friday, payday, so I started seeing women lining up outside the construction fence, waiting for the man. So they'll make a good salary. That's Friday evening. Saturday morning, they're coming back, broke, spend it all on the women, spend it all on alcohol. And that was the norm. Nothing was wrong with that. So that was the exposure I got in terms of construction. So I said, that's okay. So once in a while, the workmen, they would look at me and they would give me playing cards, what I used to play poker and things. So on the playing cards, you had pictures of naked women. You had the blondes. So if it's red, black, or, it'll be blondes or brunettes, Asian, straight hair, curly hair. Now, at the time, I was too young to understand what it was. So I used to say, well, what's this? I don't understand. And I used to laugh it off. It was a joke. Here's a young kid. He's a boss's son. I just give him a little card. So I didn't take it on anymore. So primary school now. Again, I was 7, so now I'm going 8, 9, 10. So I was working in construction. So exposed to it from a young age. And you watch a Spanish soap opera, same thing. You have the man, he always going on, you have 10 women, 5 women. That's okay. That's what you're expected to know. You're a guy, you grow up, you have 5 women. That's the norm. That's what you're supposed to do. At least. So going on to primary school, I took to reading a lot. From a young age, I used to read a lot. So and I was fairly bright at a young age. So when I came across the reproductive system in the Bible books, I said, okay, so I put 2 and 2 together. Okay, this is how the system works. And then I said, oh, so that explains why they were naked all the time. Now, like I said, I was bright, so I didn't have any need to talk to my parents about sex. I kind of came across it on my own, I suppose. I read up on it, didn't need to ask anyone for help, just go to the Bible books. In those days, we didn't really have an internet as yet, so it was still the library and thing. So, then moving on now, in primary school, I remember once that we had a talk once from I can't remember the organization, but what they were about is, sexual health, and I would suppose that sexual education in its early stages in Belize, where you have guest speakers coming to the primary school. They would talk about, do's and don'ts. So what they would do, they would show us they would talk about, in those times it was STDs before you went to STIs. They would talk about HIV and AIDS, why you shouldn't have sex at a young age. I was thinking, well, why are you talking about this? I never had sex before. So I was pretty naive. Now, sometimes they'll leave, somehow some of the kids got a hold of some of the condoms. And there was a guy beside me, a young guy, he's like maybe 13, 12 years old. He put on a condom right there and then, right beside me. I'm like, what's the boy doing? Thankfully, his bag was hiding it. I just saw his hand moving, jerking. I'm like, what's wrong with this boy? So from a young age, it was all around me. I just was naive to it. I came across it on my own. I had no need to talk to my parents about it. My father was very strict. So, why am I going to talk to my father about sex? Next thing you know, he tells me off, and that's the end of that. So moving on to high school now. That was when those times they had flip phones. They didn't have smartphones then, so those flip phones, and I think it was High Five, the social media. High Five or something. It wasn't Facebook as yet, I think. And that was 2007. At least in Belize, we didn't have Facebook then. So they would bring in these flip phones. Say, Jonas, come and see. And I said, well, what is it? They used to show me pictures of naked women on the phone. I said, why are you showing this? I don't have no time for this. I was so naive at the time. So when I understood what it was, and the second time they showed me a photo, and I'm shaking all over. So, what is this? I'm scared, frightened. I think I did something bad by looking at this picture. What it is, I don't want it to do nothing with this. So then, I would say my first introduction to pornography, where I had a woman, like physically, knowing that it was pornography. I was at home, my parents just bought a computer system, we got internet, and then an ad just flashed on the screen. And this naked woman and thing, and then, my body had a reaction. What is it about autonomic? Well, it happened to me. I don't understand these feelings. I'm thinking I'm wetting my pants. So I'm thinking something's wrong with me. So I went to the bathroom. I had a hot shower. I said, what's wrong with me? Why am I getting these sensations? And so I was very confused. But at the same time, there's no one I could ask for help. I can't ask my friends. I didn't think I could talk to my parents about it. All I had was a bio book. So what's wrong? So I immediately went to the bio book. He said, okay, so what does it say if you have this feeling? So this says, that's why I came across the term masturbation. So I'm reading symptoms. Is it a sickness? No, it's not a sickness. It's perfectly normal. Really? Okay. And then I said, so what happens if you feel it, if you get it constantly? The book suggests you may be exposed to too much sexual stimuli. Go out and play. No, that's what the book literally said. Go out and play more. It was one of those, I would say, manuals for young teenage boys. So kind of written in that kind of language. So I said, okay. And at the time in high school, so that was in Form 1. I'm Billy's going to do 4 years, so I went all the way to Form 4, 3 and 4. By the time I knew perfectly well what pornography was, what's the whole concept of sex, pornography. So what happened, I used to stay up late at night, working the SBAs. In technical drawing, you had to do about 100 drawings, and you had to do it by hand, just to bind it. So I was up 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and I was by myself in the living room, so I said, you know what, I need company, let me turn on the TV. Put on the TV. I went to Cinemax, said, I think it was Cinemax After Dark. So I'm thinking I'm going to watch a movie. So I think I remember the name of the program, Californications. You had things like that. There was one about King Henry VIII. And so I was thinking, well, oh gosh, I have CXCs to worry about. I know these things come up. And I leave it on, I leave it on. Everyone's asleep. No one's the wiser. So I kept it to myself. And I was still shaking. It was very strange. I didn't enjoy it the first time, even though you had some good sensations. I was scared. In the morning, I would be shaking. I don't want to eat nothing. I'm white as a sheet of paper. And my mom said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Nothing. Everything's okay." So I was very scared of what this is. But unfortunately, I was too curious at the time. I'm a teenager, so I'm curious about these things. Thinking this is what everyone's talking about. Everyone decided. Everyone in high school. So let me find out more on my own. So no one really introduced me. No one encouraged me. I kind of went on my own. And I said, well, okay. It takes away my stress. I was a bit of a nerd. I was reading all the time. So I never really paid attention to girls at the time. I said, well, I think the solution is perfect. No one knows what I'm doing. I relieve stress. I'm normal. So, and along the way, I'm learning a couple moves too. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, mind you, I come from a culture where, people, like young boys and girls, they have sex at 15 and 16. In high school, Form 3 was what they called the breakout year, where everyone have a boyfriend or girlfriend. They're trying out new things. They're trying out sex. And I remember the counselor would come, speak to us about sex and STIs and HIV. The thing with sexual education is really more about don't have sex because you're going to get HIV. You get HIV, you'll be stigmatized and you might die. That was it. No explanation. There was no setting like how we have here over this weekend. The harmful effects of pornography. I would think it was still in its infancy. Perhaps being in a third world country, I suppose you didn't have those. You didn't really take it on. It's just part of the culture. So then, now I did very well at CXC. My CSEC exams. I got a Caribbean award, so I was awarded a scholarship to attend UE. So I came to Trinidad and I got an offer to complete my sixth form studies in Trinidad, which I took up. So now I left. That was the first time I traveled abroad by myself. And it was sometime in December, they had the award ceremony in Trinidad, and then I returned to Belize. And then I had to fly back in January to come and complete my sixth form studies. So I'm very excited. So, usual Jonas, I have a shelf full of books. So I found all my atlases. So I read for weeks on end. I would read about Trinidad, about the culture, about Tobago, Port of Spain, everything. Then, so I was excited. To me, Trinidad is like the U.S. So I'm very happy here. So I'm all excited, and then I said I was very much looking forward to Carnival. Well, the old Carnival, because I had a very old volume. I had a couple of books on Trinidad. One of them, I think, I'm not sure if it was a biography on Eric Williams, or a set of speeches, a compendium of speeches by him. And I think I came across a section talking about Carnival and how the people get together, made the Carnival costumes. So I said, okay, I'm looking forward to that. I know about Peter Minshall when I was in Belize. I said, okay, I have something to look forward to when I'm in Trinidad. So I came to Trinidad. 17 is the first time I traveled abroad by myself. And I traveled by myself. So 17, I'm in Port of Spain, and I'm in Piorco. My eye opened big. I can't believe Trinidad have all these skyscrapers and things. You have the central bank, you have Parliament. Because where I come from Belize is very, we're not as developed. We're fairly conservative. So I come to Trinidad, my eye opened big. So January I landed, and Carnival is February. So I said, oh, It's great. I'll see how carnival is like. So I remember, so when, Trinity is like new things. I'm a new student. So I want to know, well, who's this boy? He's telling me about this, about that. And he said, oh, what about carnival? I said, yes, we'll bring it to carnival. Don't worry about that. So I used to walk every day to school, and then I used to see the Sunday Punch on the newsstands. So what the hell, boy? Why Trinidad have this? Belize we don't have that. In Belize we have 3 newspapers, or a couple more newspapers. They only publish twice weekly. Sorry. Trinidad is every day, and now I'm seeing Sunday Punch for $5 or whatever it is. And the guys used to bring it to sixth form, and they used to read it there. Put up the bag, open Sunday Punch. Well, I said, no. At the time, I was too excited, so I forgot about the whole pornography thing. So I said, it was just a phase. We'll go, and I don't have to be exposed to it anymore. Not in Trinidad. I don't think so. So, carnival was a very big culture shock for me. The video that was shown yesterday, how things a little exaggerated. Well, that's what I got. I said, well, what they asked is this one. Oh, sorry for the language. Very sorry. So now what happened in sixth form now, there were some girls in upper six. And they're very poised and thing, and they're walking down. And across the street there was St. Joseph Convent. So they okay. Look nice, Trinidad has some very beautiful women. So my head real turn. So carnival, I said, yeah, girls usually pay in mass, okay. So carnival time day I come, and I'm watching how everyone getting on. I said, oh boy. Just the other day they were very prim and proper, now they're getting on bad. So what I'm trying to get at is that in Belize, I thought, okay, Trinidad for me will be a new beginning. I can stay away from this pornography thing. And I didn't know this compound problem, because the access to it is very easy. When I was home in Belize, I only had internet for a couple of months, and that was it. I come to Trinidad, there's Wi-Fi, there's smartphones and everything. So technology was accessible. And, well, I got put back up on it. Carnival, I think, compounded the problem for me. It was constant temptation, constant battering. So, well, whatever, one doing it, it's fine. So I went back to it. I was 6 something. In UE was a different ball game, in the sense that you have pornography available, and you have all these girls that they're saying, they want to sleep with you and thing. And I think from then I'm getting this idea, well, why Trinidad they objectify women a lot? I only seeing women in the Sunday Punch, and seeing it in the carnival costumes and everything. They released now UE and said, okay, you want to sleep with them. And I got several invitations, go and have sex. And in UE, you're doing an engineering degree, you're doing 7 courses in a semester, where somebody normally might have 4 or 5, and I'm doing 7, plus 2 projects, plus a research paper, final year. So pornography for me was not a gateway, in terms of it relieved my stress. It did. No one needs to know anything. So it relieved my stress a lot. But even though I was exposed to pornography from this age, there was always a battle inside of me saying, this is wrong. I don't think this is good for you. But that conscience in the back of the head, well, I have a very strong conscience. And I think sometimes the Lord speaks very plainly to me. I'll give you a very quick example of the story. So what happened once, I said, you know what? Enough of this. I've been in Trinidad for 3 years. I might as well buy a Sunday Punch. So I set out confident from the engineering building in USA, walking on the streets. I knew all the newsstands because they used to catch my eye. So I know there were 5 places around the UWI campus where I knew I could buy one. So I was walking, and it started to rain. Alright, so looking for shelter. And I said, you know what, this is not deterring me. I'm going to buy my Sunday Punch. What is the whole fuss about? So walking, and then I came across this guy in the middle of the street, for some apparent reason, handing out leaflets saying God loves you. I said, all right, the rain catch me. I have this pamphlet. Never mind, I'll still go on. So I go on and on and on and on. The first shop was closed. I said, all right. So I said, well, let me try the second shop. It's still raining. In the rain, I said, I need to find out what this is all about. And my father called me. My father. And I think he said, refer to some passage in the Bible. I think you should read the Bible. So I can't remember the exact verse, but it had something to do with probably you as a person in your relationship with God. So very fine. So every shop I tried after was closed. So I thank God you went. So I just went home. But I think UE, that's where the problem got blown up in terms of now UE had applied filters to the internet, so you couldn't access pornography at all. Now nothing is foolproof because fools are so ingenious. So I knew how to circumvent the system. So you can go on YouTube and you can find films, old Italian films from the 1970s are all about erotica. Now they filtered the word porn, but not erotica. Bypass the system. There were GIFs, GIF, so you had images, flashing and everything. You could find it on YouTube, you could find it on there are ways to circumvent the system. So we'll look at you can focus on glass where you're watching porn. That's where guilt came in. So guilt is a very heavy burden on your shoulders. Like when you're watching pornography, you know it's wrong, you go to church, everyone tells you it's wrong. You have an urge, you have to satisfy that urge. It knocks you out to sleep. So you're asleep, I have school tomorrow, so you know what, I just need a quick fix. I get my dose. And then I can't sleep because the guilt is too much. And then I get a voice in the back of my head saying, well, you already did it. That's what I'm doing. It's not going to change, what's going to move. You already did it, you already a sinner, go on. So kept going on and on and on. And then I graduated you and I think the problem's going to go away. So I graduated, I finished you in May of this year. I said, there were a couple of weeks I went sober. I had no access to pornography or anything. Okay, so this would be a new chapter for me. Maybe it was really just a phase. Maybe now I have the willpower to change this. No. Well, yes to a sense, but now I'm working on a construction site. So I'm back at square one, where a lot of guys say, oh, there's a new kid, he's very quiet, he's a test now. So Jonas, yeah, so you want to go so place on south? I said, which place? So apparently I got invitations to go poor houses and things. They said I was too quiet to be a guy on a construction site. So what do you want? You want Bennies, you want Colombians, you want Trinis, you want guys, what do you want? Our treat, we pay for everything for you. So just when I thought the problem was over, now I'm getting peer pressure. Then I have a friend, a very good friend of mine. She watches pornography a lot. I said, Jonas, you should at least try it, Go on, have something, look at you. You read too much of damn books in UE. Because in UE, since it's in the front row, you read a lot of books. Engineering stuff, and out of 100, only 20 of us graduate. Out of the 20, 10 was from the original cohort. The other 10 is repeated. So it's very tough. I said, look at you. So I can't get a girlfriend, you don't know how to treat women. So now I'm in a situation where a close friend of mine saying, that's the reason I can't get a girlfriend in Trinidad, because you need to know to satisfy them. I said, go, you have to have a couple of lessons. So now I'm getting bombarded with all these messages. I'm just finished dealing with this pornography issue. Now I have another phase where the pornography now is not me enough. I now have offers from guys that pay for everything to go to a whorehouse. So now you would think, yes, we discuss about pornography, but then there's pornography to lead to prostitution. I even got offers that said you could buy sex toys from me and all. So pornography is really a gateway in terms that it could expose you to other, how should I put it, ills, I would say. It was very tough, As a young man, it's a need to break you out. And the pressure is that you need to break out. You need to satisfy a woman, you can go after a fence, you have to have a good time. Try at least 3 or 5 women before you're married. So even though at home I said, look, I want to change. Because I started noticing I would start looking at friends and girls in you in a particular way. Look at particular areas in the body. And so why I catch myself, why are you looking at her that way? You don't know her. You don't know her story. You're not her friend. You don't know what you're going through. But yet you're objectifying her in your mind. And then the guilt came back again. The guilt was so heavy, so you thinking you're going to lift this burden up. So the burden is pornography, you lift it up, yes, it's gone, then comes guilt. Guilt keeps you right there. So, 15 years of that. For a problem I thought, well, I'll get over it by the time I hit high school. Oh, I'll get over it by the time I get sixth form. I'll get over it by the time I graduate university. I'll get over it when I start to work. The problem is still right there. Game. And we talk is guys, older guys, we're talking about 35, 36, 40, 50. Guys who are experienced in construction, business. Sometimes that's a norm. I'm not condemning the whole industry. But sometimes that's a norm where you need to break out. So you have that pressure, you need to break out. And pornography, what it has done, it has weakened my moral compass. So part of me wants to say yes, you know what, maybe I should try it. The other half said no. I don't think so. One day I would like to marry someone. I would like to marry a girl. Yeah. Right. So I would like to start a family, and I mean, I have sisters. I have an older sister, younger sister. I have a brother. He's 10 right now, and I got exposed to it when I was 7. If I can't make a change now, how do I expect to be a role model for my brother who's 10? And I'm close to my younger brother. He's 10, and he's still at the stage where he's still watching cartoons and things. But eventually he'll go to high school, and he'll be exposed to it. My day, I came across it on the internet once a month. Sometimes I used to see it once a month. Once every 2 months. And even that once, it was only for 1 minute. Even that 1 minute, it was only one picture. And it blew it up to a scale where you might watch 5 videos in a night. Sometimes it doesn't satisfy you at all. That's where the urge comes in. Well, you see, sometimes you would trick yourself into saying, well, even though I'm watching porn, at least I have a compass. I might only watch men and women only. Nothing wrong. But then when you get desensitized, you get this nagging urge, you have 2 options. You can either act out what you see, or you might try something more perverse. So you don't have much options either. So I've been battling with it for 15 years, and now I think I'm on the road to recovery. Sonny Slaughter, she did a very good job in terms of jolting me out of it and the reality of it and how interconnected it is with everything else. And I think I need to find courage in myself to make this change. Not so much by myself, but now I have a brother, he's 10. And I can see it right there in my eyes, it can repeat itself. If I can't make a change with myself, how can I expect to help my younger brother? I have 2 sisters. And how are they going to, if they find out that, because they don't know either. They don't know. No one knows. My brother certainly doesn't know, and I wish he never knew. That's why some days I think that's why I want to keep it, but you'll pluck up the courage and you tell them, well, this is the problem I go through, this is why I don't want to maybe hang with certain friends or so on. So I have to deal with it 15 years, and I hope it's only that 15 years, and I hope that we grow up. Yes, I have a lot of growing up to do. I'm 22, just at the start of my young adult life. The time I spent here these past 2 days, it has opened my eyes in terms of the effects of pornography it has, who it has been affecting. And I really genuinely thought I was an isolated case. I didn't think anyone else had my problems. Remember, I didn't speak to anyone. I came across it on my own. No one introduced me to it. I came across it on my own. Now I found that everyone has these problems. There is a way to recover from it. I've been a couple of months now. Since I finished UV, I've been off of it now. Temptation lurks here and there every once in a while, but I need to think. Yeah, it does. So I must change. Like I said, I would like to marry a young woman one day. And as they put it so well, I mean, I think love is not only a sexual act; there's much more involved to it. And as an engineer, I read a quote once in an engineering book. It said at the time of it said it's so fascinating that men can be in contact with each other in less than half a second. And they use the example of the Apollo mission to the moon. And you have control. Relay a message quickly in a second. But it takes years just to develop a relationship this side. You can't just walk up to someone and talk to them. It takes years, 10 years, 15 years. I'm thinking, well, pornography is very easy. Half a minute away. But if I want a lasting relationship with someone, in 5 years, 10 years, and it could be my younger brother, it could be my sisters, and I need to know that I need to change, so I can change. And my whole family, my sibling might follow, my brother might follow. And the guilt would be too much. I failed myself and I failed my brother, and there's nothing I can do about it anymore. So now I'm on the road to recovery, and I hope it changes. There's a lot of prayer that goes on, a lot of work as an individual. It's not easy to get out of it, It won't be. But what I would like to, in closing, I'd just like to encourage everyone that, especially a lot of young men, you need to talk to them, your sons, your husbands about it. You as parents, you need to be open. Children, I would suggest you be brave and speak to your parents about it. It's not an isolated case in isolation. And it could prevent a lot of problems in the future for you. So we really like to encourage dialogue with your parents and everyone else. To really say no to pornography. I've dealt with it with 15 years and I think I'm old right now. 15 years is a lot of time wasted on something else I could have used. So, again, in closing, I'd like to encourage everyone to just stay away from pornography and just talk about it. I think it's really good that the Family Life Commission organize all of this, and I think it's very good exposure to everyone to know the effects of pornography on. And I would like to thank presenters. I would like to thank our receptive audience to giving me this chance to just talk about my own experience. So, thank you.
You'll agree, two powerful real-life testimonies. Told with unsparing honesty by two mighty young men. We thank Jerome and we thank Jonas for sharing with us.